But check this out. Peter wants to build 3 tabernacles when he sees this vision. He was like, oh my God, let's just stay here. We'll build tabernacle for you, Jesus, one for Moses, one for Elijah. We'll just stay right here. And from Peter's words, we see that Israel, his disciples, the Jews of that time, were still trying to hold on to the law and the prophets. They were still trying to hold on to the old because Moses represents the law. Elijah represents the prophets. And Peter's like, yeah, we won't just build something for you, Jesus. We'll let Moses and Elijah join this party. We'll build something for them. And so when the voice spoke out of the cloud, God spoke and essentially said, hey, listen to me. Remember that? Remember when he said, a voice spoke out of the cloud, this is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased? That is tantamount to God saying, hey guys, you need to listen to me. Because the word of God is clear that Christ is the end of the law for righteousness and that he came to redeem us from the curse of the law. You can read more about that in Romans 10:4 and Galatians 3:13. Now, when you read Luke's gospel, his version of the Transfiguration, it adds something interesting that made me ponder. Let's read Luke 9:30-31. And behold, there talked with him 2 men, which were Moses and Elias, who appeared in glory and spake of his decease, which he should accomplish at Jerusalem. So now when I was thinking about this, I was like, why do they need to tell him of his decease? Jesus Christ is God. God is all knowing. Why does he need Moses and Elijah to tell him that he's going to die in Jerusalem? I mean, doesn't God know all things? Okay. So maybe you're not like me, but that's how I think. That's how my brain works. I'm trying to understand this. Like, why are they telling him about his death? Doesn't he know he's going to do that? And so what I believe is that it was almost like they were bearing witness, like a legal proceeding where you have to show up and give testimony, because Moses was a man who pleaded with Israel to change. He gave them a choice. Choose you this day. Choose you to this day, life or death, whether you're going to keep the commandments of God and be blessed or not keep his commandments and be cursed. Choose you today. He gave them a choice. They didn't choose. The same thing with Elijah on Mount Carmel. Choose you this day. Choose you this day. They didn't choose. He told them, he said, if God is God, choose God. If Baal is God, choose Baal. They temporarily heeded Elijah because fire fell from heaven. And I'm telling you right now, me and you, we see fire from heaven. We're like, you got me. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that they remain faithful and loyal to God. So they didn't choose God with Moses' time. They didn't choose God with Elijah. And so Moses and Elijah showed up as if to bear witness and complete the full circle and say, God, they haven't chosen you. But remember in John chapter 15, Jesus Christ said this to his disciples, you did not choose me, but I have chosen you. And he went to accomplish his death in Jerusalem, because at this point, because Israel had fully rejected him, the only way he could bring the kingdom now would be through his death and resurrection. That's why I believe Moses and Elijah showed up on that mountain and spoke of his decease.